Hi, I'm Dave Wilbur, Director of Agronomy and Customer Success at turfRad, and I want to take just a minute today to show you one of the great features of our RAD platform. So, what we're looking at here is this would be your browser when you have it open, and pretty much the standard view, right? And if we wanted to zoom in, we sure can. We'll just zoom in right here and just get a little bit of a better picture. This happens to be Fairview Country Club in Connecticut. So thanks to Jim Pavinetti for letting me mess around with his maps today. At any rate, over here on the right-hand side, you can see that you can adjust a percentage, right? So you can look and put that midpoint where your green should be. And I'm just adjusting it there, right? So, whoops, I got to do it on the right screen. There we go. So we're adjusting it that way. And you can see that if I adjust this down to where I want my green point to be more at 16%, it makes a pretty big change in the picture that we're looking at. Okay. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go a little bit further. So our geniuses in Zurich, Switzerland have built in this great feature. It's one of my favorite things. And what you do is go into the settings here. Okay. And then we have some presets down here at the bottom. And what we're going to do is just make a new preset. So we hit that plus thing. We got the little writing tool over here, and we'll call this Dave's demo. Just so I know I can get rid of it later and not mess up Jim's world. All right, so that is now saved and it is now selected. Okay, and so I'm going to show you what we can do with this. So what we have here is the ability now to change our high and our low points and to narrow that middle point. Okay, so what we do is we start with the middle point and we say, well, where do I want my middle point to be? All right, let's pick about 19%. And let's say this is for an event or something like that. And I want to narrow that world up a little bit. So I would like to get my guys maybe to not overwater and not underwater, right? So we're going to narrow that green zone down a little bit. Okay, so this is what we've got, and here we are at our 19% moisture in the regular view. So let me show you what this does. This is so cool. I love this so much. So we close those presets, and now it's going to reload the map. Okay, and we're going to go over here to what we call the discrete view, which is basically a way to say, hey, I don't want my maps to be so pretty. All right, now let's zoom in a little bit. And you can see that what we've got is some great delineations between and don't pay attention to the greens here. We're doing some scanning on greens and doing some testing there. Let's look at fairways today. If we look in here, you can really see that we've got some areas that they're hovering, right? But that's not so bad. And so what we might want to do is we might want to key in on maybe somewhere like this. It's pretty blue. What's going on here? Well, could be shade from the trees, could be a lot of stuff. So let's take that a little bit further. We turn on our sprinkler view, and now we can see what those individual heads are doing for us. And we can zoom right in and see what their moisture mean is, what their uniformity is, all that sort of stuff. It's a really great view. But the important part here, I'm not going to get too deep into the sprinkler view, but the important part is now we see this area and there's something we can do about it. Let's go back to our discrete view. Now it's really delineated, and you could print the map for you guys and send them out and say, hey, tell me what's going on with this area. What can I do about that? Pretty cool, right? And then you have the ability also to adjust those endpoints there too. So the magic of this is this. We'll go back to our settings now. All right, and let's add another point, and we'll call this DD2. And I'm going to show you why this is so magical and why I love it so much. All right, Dave's demo 2. Okay, and we're going to say yes. That's what I want to call that. All right, now this is fun. So now let's talk about a dry down situation. What I want to do is, let's say after a rain event or whatever, I don't want to water too early. So I'm going to put my my green zone up into the 30% thing or whatever, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood. And I'm going to narrow my red zone down because I don't want to water too early. So we're going to narrow that down a little bit. And then I'm going to bring my blue zone into view. Okay. So this is different, right? This is a different kind of thing. So you can see my lows set at 10, right? My midpoint at 33 instead of 19. This is different. And you remember those maps before. So again, we're going to select that. We'll get out of this and go back to our maps. This is so fun. It's my favorite thing. All right, here we go. We'll turn on our discrete view. Look at this. Huh. Gosh, we don't need to do any watering. Right? We're in this big kind of dry down situation. And but what I want to do maybe is go out and look at a couple of these wet spots. Why are they that wet? You know, why is this one 40%? And if you remember, we were kind of looking at that before, right? But we definitely don't see anything here that really, really is desperate for water. There's a couple of tees that Jim scanned, you know, those kind of things. He knows his golf course well. We might take a look at these things. And again, you could print that map and you could go there. And then just for fun, I'll show you the sprinkler view. And look at this. We can just zoom in on this area that we were talking about. What's that sprinkler doing? Why is it doing that? Is it just because of the shade from this tree? Again, you guys know your golf courses. You know it's good. All right, so that's the preset view. And I thought I would show that to you. And thanks again to Jim Pavinetti for letting us do this. And at turfRad, one of the things that I love is that our team of software engineers, agronomists, and everybody, we're always talking with our clients, and we're always trying to make something cool. So thanks for watching. I'm sure I'll be back with more tips.